I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the Manos Metro belt bag, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. Like a lot of other bags from Manos, this is made with a vegan leather. So bringing it up closer to the camera there, you can get a little bit of a closer look at just the kind of the vibe it has. It's very slick, very smooth. It feels very nice in hand. And like it's, I don't have any like beef with the build quality or anything. Like the stitching is really, really nice all around. Like I don't see any loose stitches or anything. Like it has a very nice aesthetic. On the front we have Manos here. This is just a like debossed logo. So it's just kind of like, bring that up close too. It's nice and kind of subtle, like you don't really notice it. And I think what's nice about this is it's like very subtle and professional, but it just falls flat a little bit in terms of like actual function and comfort for me, in terms of like being a sling. I think it makes like a better pouch, I guess. So kind of looking at the functionality here, like we've got like a strap that actually attaches to this thing. We'll look at in a second about like a little bit more detail there. A buckle here, unbranded hardware kind of across the board. The zipper pulls themselves are that same like vegan leather material. We do have a dual zipper design that's very nice and easy to move around. And this is pretty much as packed out as I could possibly get this thing. There's really not that much more that you can fit in here. Like it's a pretty fixed, I guess, depth. Like there's a fixed amount of space that you can actually pack here into here. It doesn't like expand as you add more items or anything. The inside is a cotton twill fabric liner, so like it's a very nice and soft. And then we have a nylon webbing belt as well. I'm going to squeeze that a little bit to get it closed. And this is like a very soft seat belt like material, so it's not anything like super duper fancy. I do have some beef, I guess, with the actual like adjustment buckle system thing here, which we can talk about now. So this can actually be worn 3 different ways. You can wear it as a sling, which is how I have it designed now. You can wear it as a belt bag, which would just involve tightening this strap, and then it would just fit more around your waist, more like that. Or you can actually flip this up, it's like buckles tight, and then you can remove the strap entirely. So this buckle here, like I mentioned, unbranded hardware, it works easily enough. I did notice this happened a lot, where it just kind of creates its own loop, like it didn't really sit and lay flat like that until like after a decent amount of time of being like stuck in that position. And I think that's because this doesn't really move well. So like if I have, let me see the best way to do this. If I have this on and I just want to like tighten it, that works great there, but I can't really tighten it this way. And like part of that's nice because it won't slip out of its adjustment. But if you wanted to really quickly adjust the fit while you had it on, it's kind of difficult to do. So I didn't really love that. It didn't make it easy to like switch between different, formations. But if you wanted to remove this entirely, you could just, it's easier to do when this is empty, so I won't bore you with it, but you just kind of slip the buckle there. It was easy to do when it's empty. It did look like it was going to be difficult, but like once gear is not in there, it has more room to move. Or you can just snap it between here and call it a day, but let's look at it on. This is when it's in sling mode. You can see that it's fitting pretty nice and tight to my body. It can sometimes pull a little bit forward if you do have it like more loose versus like being more tight to your chest, but it sits pretty flat on my back as well. So I do like that. Their Metro sling came forward like a ton, which I didn't love. So this is more of a fit that I enjoy. If you wanted to move it into like that hip belt mode or like that waist pack and you wanted to have that more of aesthetic, you would just kind of like put it down here. For the sake of time, I'm not going to adjust it, but you can see it fits pretty sleek. It's a little bit on like the smaller end, which I think is nice if you're not looking to have a ton of like extra gear hanging around your waist. And it does have more of like a, I don't know, I would say like fancier look in the scheme of waist packs go. And then when it's actually adjusted, Two things I did notice one of them was the fact that it's like difficult to adjust. I adjusted it when it was off my body every single time and then would put it back on to get it fixed. And then it also moves around on the strap a lot. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. In terms of exterior compartments on this thing, we only have one. So this front pocket is actually designed to fit like a passport or something. This is a passport sized notebook. So I just kind of want to show you what it looks like once it's actually in there. I can fit it so that it's not popping up or anything, but you can see that it's really like wavy, wiggly in there. And that's by nature of like the gear that I actually have packed inside. And then when I actually want to grab this out, it's pretty difficult to get out as well. And so I feel like when I have a bag overstuffed, I'm kind of like, who cares, right? Like obviously I did this to myself. I brought a ton of items, whatever, maybe I didn't pack as smart, but keep that in mind when we look at what's in this main compartment, because for the amount that's in there, it should not be so tight to get this thing in and out of that front sleeve. The nice part about this front sleeve is that it's not very obvious, and so I didn't use it pretty much ever, and it wasn't in the way and it didn't look bad. So I think that it has that going for it. And then, you know, if I was traveling, maybe I would have my passport in there or something. But it's just a little bit it's not as useful for me just in day-to-day use cases to have that slip pocket personally. So now looking at the main compartment. So keep in mind what I said about how you really can't like overstuff this thing because it's a pretty fixed capacity. It is, let me double check here, it is a 0.87 liter capacity. So it's just shy of 1 liter, which I have a 1 liter sling that I travel with all the time, and it can fit way more stuff inside of it than this thing can. So that's really my biggest beef with this. You know, if I open this up, it's standing up on its own, which I guess is cool. I don't really need it to do that, but that's nice. But remember how I couldn't really fit the passport in the front? That was because it was too overstuffed, and what I have in here is a phone, wallet, and my keys, and like literally that is it. So this thing here, there's really not that much space to work with. Granted, if I were traveling, I would definitely cut down on the size of my keys. So like, I'll give it credit for that, right? Like maybe I'll have a smaller like bunch of keys in here. Maybe I'll put them in my travel bag, whatever. Like you can definitely cut down on what you have in here. Also, there are 2 card slots right here. So I can do like my most used card and then my ID. It can also technically fit 2 cards. It can get a little tight once they're like all packed out. But if that's something that you wanted to do, you could do that, and maybe you can get rid of your wallet, right? And then what's left is like your phone. And if you just have your phone in here, you're like, oh my God, I have so much space to work with. But then once you start adding other items, it starts to get loaded out. Like if I put my headphones in here, it just starts to feel like clunky again. So this thing is best for, I feel like people who only have like a couple of things at most that they carry on a daily basis. And those items can be kind of, I don't know, like you have to arrange them properly. Like if I wanted to get to my key, like I had to put my keys here and then my wallet vertically, I think right over here. And then my phone went like kind of on top of all of that, and even then they're still kind of layering. But if my phone went all the way down and then I pulled my phone out, then it wasn't easy to get it back in. So I feel like the arrangement here just like really fell flat for me. There just wasn't a lot of functional usable space. I'm a pretty minimalist traveler when I'm just like with my daily carry. I don't have a ton. Like I would say on top of this, the most I would have would be my headphones and my chapstick, and I really wouldn't feel comfortable putting them in here because I feel like they'd flip out, like literally like come out when I like opened up the bag. We also have this slip pocket back here, which you theoretically could put a phone in, but actually no, you can't, because it doesn't fit. Mine, I have a regular size iPhone. I guess if they didn't have a case, maybe. But that doesn't fit in there. It doesn't fit vertically. You could do your passport in here if you wanted to. Like that's a nice spot for that. But a like Kindle or something definitely doesn't fit. So if I were like going to be actually traveling, well, actually, let me look at this back pocket first. Then we've got this back pocket. That's a zippered pocket. I quite literally did not use this one time. I did not have a single thing that would fit in here. It's just really stiff, and like if once you put stuff in here, it cuts into this space, and I felt like I was fighting for so much room in that space anyway. I didn't want to use it with the zipper pocket. So with this here, like, and it goes all the way to the bottom, so you can kind of lose items down there. But like if I were traveling on a plane, you know, I would have maybe my Kindle and my phone, and then you're basically out of space. Like headphones don't really fit here. You can't really do your wallet, so you would have to do this here. Like you kind of like back yourself into a corner. I never found like a very comfortable configuration with all the items that I have. So that was really, I mean, I think where this really does well is aesthetic, because it does look so nice on the outside. I do remember actually now that it came with, there's like spots right there, and that's actually what looks like glue. Oh yeah, it was on the back here too. That's where I saw it as well. So it just wasn't like, I don't know. It kind of felt like that's probably just this exact sample that we have. So maybe if you got it and you saw it, you could do like a return or something. But I just feel like for like the amount that it is, it just feels a little bit too clunky for me. And the aesthetic doesn't sell it enough to make it worth it, in my opinion. So there you have it, the Manos Metro Belt Bag. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.